Welcome to an essential beginner's guide to Stata. Stata is a general purpose statistical software package which was officially released in 1985. This software offers users a graphical interface to manage, analyze, and graph data. The name Stata is an abbreviation of two words: statistics and data. With Stata, you can open many different types of data files and manipulate them. Because of this, it is used by a wide variety of people from different disciplines, including business, economics, geography, demography, and sociology, just to mention a few. Stata is a mainstream statistical software package, just like SPSS, SAS, and R. But Stata is a great software for data analysis because it is particularly easy to use and it has great data management capabilities for a wide range of statistical analysis. Moreover, it has a broad and active user base that continuously improves and creates new functionalities, and this makes data very user friendly. In this lesson, we will take a look at the Stata software interface. We are working with the newest version of Stata, which is Stata 16, which comes with new and exciting functionalities. Please be mindful that I am using the Mac version of Stata for my tutorials. And you would see some slight visual differences if you are using a Windows version. The main difference, however, is how some windows are displayed and how they can be customized. So let's take a look at Stata. The first time you open Stata, you would probably see something like this. This is Stata's primary program window, and it may be subdivided into about 5 parts depending on the version you are using. That is, if you're using a Mac version or a Windows version. And these windows are the results window, the command window, the variables window, the variables properties window, and the history window. We'll take time to discuss this one after the other. The results window. This window displays all your outputs and hence is very important. However, physical interaction with the window would probably be limited. You can highlight text and then right-click to see specific options for what you have selected. But most of these will be copy options. You can also right-click anywhere without highlighting text to set preferences such as color or font size. Let's try that. So we right-click and we see options for clearing results, selecting all the text in the window, and preference. We also have an option for printing as well. So let's click on the preference. A new dialog box should open, and here we would have the option to change the font for the results window if we do not like the standard version. We also have an option to change the font size here, which can be increased to a maximum of about 24 and reduced to a font size of 9. We also have the option to change the color scheme. Here is the standard color scheme, but we can change it to, for example, have a dark scheme as we can see here. But let's change it back to the standard. Now, one important thing I would want you to focus on is the scroll back buffer size. By default, it's been set to 200 kilobytes. Now, you can easily fill your results window with a lot of outputs, especially if you're working with a large data set. And some of your outputs will begin to disappear from the top. So it is a good idea to increase the size of the scroll back to its maximum value of 2000, which would increase your ability to see prior outputs in your results viewer by 10 times. So let's change that. Next, let's talk about the command window. This window is how you would interact with data. Any command that you type in here and then enter will be displayed and executed in the results window. Here's an example. Let's type something random and hit enter. In this case, the command was unrecognized. And this is okay because what we typed was gibberish, and Stata returned an error message. Note that error messages will always be in red, and this means that the command you entered is incorrect. To the far right of the results window, we have the variables window, and this shows us all the variables in our dataset. We can right-click to interact with variables here, although this is generally not a preferred way to manage variables. If you are not careful, you may accidentally delete a variable. Below the variables window, we have the variables properties window. By default, this is locked up as you don't want to accidentally change any variable's properties. This can have severe consequences. I find that I rarely use this particular window, and you would rarely do so as well. So I'll not talk much about this in this lesson. Now, if you're using a Mac version of Windows, the variables properties window may not show, but you can get to that window by changing the Windows setting. The Windows menu allows you to bring back any window that is not showing or you have accidentally closed. We can bring back this window by going through the Windows menu and clicking on Properties. And here you go. The Properties window is now showing. If you are using a Windows version, then on the left-hand side of your screen, you might find the History window that shows you all the previous commands that you have executed. But in the Mac version, you can find it here. Now, one useful function of the history window is that you can double click on previous commands to repeat them. You can also copy your commands and save it to a do file. Now, we'll talk about do files in the subsequent model. But for now, just think of it as an inbuilt text file in Stata, implying that you can type, copy, paste, edit, and save your commands to a do file for future use. It is also important to know that you can change the size of the window by dragging them to the left and to the right, and also from bottom to top or up and down. At the top of the Stata interface, we have the menu options. The menus include File, Edit, View, Data, Graphics, Statistics, User, Window, and Help. Now, the majority of these menus are pretty self-explanatory and don't need much explanation at this point. And we have already even talked about the Windows menu. Stata also has a toolbar for commonly used features up here, and it is very important because we'll be using these icons frequently in this class. Now, here we have the open icon, and this is used to open and load a dataset. The next is the save icon, which is used to save your dataset after you have finished working on it. And the log icon here is useful if you want to save your commands and output to a file. Now, the log and its sub commands tell Stata to open a file and create a record of your commands that you have typed and any output that appears in the results window. So you have options. If you click down on this arrow to begin a log file and to append a log file to another log file, you have an option to close a log file, to suspend a log file, and to resume a log file. The next icon is the viewer icon, and this simply displays file contents. One nice thing about Stata is that we can always find help for commands we are not familiar with. So let's assume we need help with the command tabulate. Now, tabulate is a very useful command in Stata, and we would make use of it in this class very often. So all we need to do is to type help followed by the command that we need help with, and in this case, tabulate. Let's try it. Now, this window that appears is the viewer window, and it gives us information that is available for us to access about the command tablet. So we can click on it, and then it gives us all that we need to know about the command. The next icon is the graph icon, and this helps us to interact with the graphs we have produced in Stata. With this, we can change the color of our graphs, we can label our graphs, and we can change the dimensions of our graphs. Next, we have the Do File Editor, followed by the Data Editor. We will talk more extensively about these icons in our subsequent model.